here with my ladies. My ladies are here. I've got everyone from Plush on the line with me today. I'm so happy to have you girls. First of all, we did this. I don't know if you remember, but it was at the very beginning of the Plush journey. And you guys have come so far in such a short period of time. So welcome to WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers. It's so great to see your beautiful faces.
Thank you.
It's great to see you too. Thank you for having us.
Thanks so much for having us.
There's all my girls. There's all my girls. There's everybody. Okay, so I'm going to start. You know, we've got a lot to cover because the last year has been crazy, crazy, crazy. But I'm going to start with a question for Moriah because I wanted to talk to you a little bit about getting into the studio. I mean, it's been a crazy year of touring. You guys have been out with so many amazing bands, but getting into the studio was so important for you. Getting that record under your belt. What was it like, Moriah, to get into the studio with your band? I mean, it's everybody's band, but you know, the band, and put together the debut record.
It was honestly it was an incredible experience, first of all, for so many reasons. And it was just so satisfying to see and hear everything come together, you know, after having, you know, these essentially like ideas just sitting around. And so it's awesome to see it all come together. And, you know, and then when you're in the studio, that's when a lot of, we were just talking about this yesterday, I think too, like that's when a lot of the stuff actually comes together, like parts and everything. I mean, Athena was pretty much the whole song was written in the studio. When we were recording that. And so it was just really awesome. And it was a lot of fun too, particularly in the Nashville studio that we recorded at East Iris, right? I'm pretty sure East Iris. It was so much fun to be in the live room together and jam out the songs together as a band. And then have some of those things be used, you know, in the recording because it's just such a raw moment. And it was our first time kind of getting together and just getting the flow of all the songs, you know? And it was really also amazing to work with Johnny K. I mean, he brought so much, I mean, he made me personally grow as an artist and as a person tremendously because he really taught me how to, you know, deliver in the vocal booth rather than just sing, you know what I mean?
And the perfect fit for you guys. I was so worried that there would be a producer would come in and would want to change what the band is about. And he captured you guys perfectly. How did you decide that he was the producer for you? Such an important part. The producer becomes a part of the band. And this debut record was so important for you guys because, you know, as people have said, you know, the 4 words that are magic, the girls can play. And we wanted that to come through on this record. And he was just such a great producer for you guys. How did you know he was the guy?
Yeah, I agree. Like his vision just aligned perfectly with ours. And it was so great and so smooth to work with him. The way that came about actually was our management knew Johnny K. And they suggested, they were like, hey, you know, Johnny K, he's a really cool producer. He's worked with, and then literally proceeded to name like everybody in the rock world. And so I think it was just a no-brainer at that point. It was because I know I didn't really know anyone and who to work with and whatever. So it was just seemed perfect. I mean, we were like, of course, you know, why? It's an amazing opportunity, you know. And Johnny K, hearing that he worked with Disturbed and so many other bands and 3 Doors Down, it was just awesome. So I think it was,
and he got you. He got the band. He got what the band needed to deliver, and that's that real live feel and that real live sound of what Plush is all about. And the debut record's super important, you know, because you're right on that cusp of letting people know who you are. So he was just an absolutely brilliant choice. And you guys have just been touring maniacs, getting out there and showing people what you can do, whether you're out with Seether or Daughtry or of course, Hailstorm and Evanescence, just huge. I had Amy Lee on the feature. I've got my Plush shirt on. She had her Plush shirt on, and she said, I needed to get this band on my tour. I wanted them as the opening act on the tour. So when you guys all hear something like that, what is that like? How does that make you feel?
Oh my God, it doesn't feel real. I mean, like you were saying right before we went live, like how you were talking to Slash and he said we were cool. That's just like, does not even process for me at all. And it's just, I mean, I speak for all of us just saying like, we're all just so thankful for all of these huge people in the industry that are, I mean, not just noticing us, but also like spreading the word or taking us under their wing. It's really been just such an incredible experience.
So Bella, when you find out as a guitar player that you're going out on the road with the Gibson God, you know, with Slash, like what is that like for you when you first get that call, like, oh, and you guys are going to be on the Slash tour as well?
Oh my God. I don't even know how to explain it. Like the first thing I thought of, which I just think it's so funny. A few years ago when I was in high school, Slash came to Boston and I had seen his solo band before, like opening for Aerosmith. So it's like no brainer. Like I have to go to the show. So my mom was so cool and let me skip school for the day so we could go to the show and like try to get up front, you know? And now that was only 3 years ago and we're going to be playing the same venue opening for him. So
Great.
it's just like, just crazy, like mind blowing. Like I never would have guessed any of this would happen, you know?
Yeah, the date, by the way, on March 12th, Beacon Theater, New York City, just an absolutely legendary place to play. Great sound, you know, simply amazing. And you guys are doing the tour. Yeah, he actually described you guys as badasses, which I thought was incredibly cool. And he said they're badasses and they're super hot. And you always want to take out a hot band, a band that everybody's buzzing about and talking about on the road with you and let the fans see what the next generation of rockers are like. So that was, you know, I loved him even more then.
That's so amazing.
Loved him even more then. So I want to talk to Ashley a little bit because I want to talk about, you know, when I first started reading about you, people were saying, oh, she's like the female Cliff Burton, you know, and you've heard the moniker before. Now, what is it like when you hear something like that? No pressure, of course, but that's got to be kind of strange to hear about yourself.
It's crazy and incredibly humbling to be compared to somebody that's so iconic and had such an impact on music. So I honestly don't even know how to react to it, and I'm so grateful for the comparison because he's such an amazing player. And I hope that one day I can come close to being as good as him. It's people like him that I look at and I'm like, I need to practice more.
Yeah. I mean, when I started reading that about you, I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And definitely a great feeling, you know, because female bass players, we don't have all that many. You've got some female front women out there and guitar players, but, you know, picking up the bass is definitely a whole different animal. And you need that great drummer behind you because that's a whole section. You know, it's like a marriage and you can't do one without the other. And of course, Brooke, so I remember reading, I think, and I hope I'm correct on this, was a first concert for you Godsmack Seven Dust, and then all of a sudden you're opening for Seven Dust, you know, not too far down the line?
Yes, my first concert I ever went to, I think I was 12, and it was Seven Dust and Godsmack, so
wow.
Crazy.
Wow. And then you guys opened the Seven Dust dates. Was it end of the year? I think there was a New Year's Eve show, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was 4 shows in a row. That was like last week of December going into the new year.
Wow.
I actually have a poster for it right next to me.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, there it is.
I mean, just living the dream. So let's talk about Better Off Alone, which is such a cool song because it's a very empowering song. And it's a song about feeling yourself a little bit. So Ms. Moriah, where did that song come from?
It came from a, you know, obviously a relationship where it's, you just realize, you know, you're trying so hard to satisfy this person and make sure that, you know, their needs are met and whatever. And then you realize that really everything you do just ends up pissing them off, or they become manipulative with things and possessive over you and just all sorts of things. And you're like, you know what? No, I'm better off alone. I don't need this, you know? So that's what the inspiration for the song.
And I love the video. The video shows
Thank you.
who the band is. You know, the band is out front, and I think, you know, your chemistry together as a band is so incredible. So anybody who wants to answer this, when you guys got in the studio together and got in the pocket of recording together, when was the moment that you knew that you had such an incredible chemistry, that the band was going to be a band, a real long-time band? You were going to be sisters. You don't get on all of these tours and put out a great record and get, you know, into top 20 on the rock charts with, you know, multiple singles without having a real band. So when was your moment that you knew, whoever wants to answer that, wow, this is a real band and we're in the pocket here?
I would say for me, I definitely realized that when we were down in Nashville in the like live room and we were tracking Athena. Like for me, that was definitely the moment where it was like, oh my gosh, because we were just like, I feel like we were really locked in when we were recording that, and it was just like such an awesome experience and a great feeling.
Yeah, we were vibing that day. I remember that. That was definitely a moment for me too. That or like Found a Way, when we played that in the studio, I think I was like, oh shoot, you know, like, yeah. and to be honest, like a lot of our practices before that, I just had a feeling like I was like, this is gonna be great. We're gonna do a lot of great things together. You know, I can't remember the exact moment, but I remember just going to several practices, you know, particularly before we went to Nashville, and I was just like, yeah, this is going to be so much fun. This is going to be awesome.
And it was such a non-traditional year. It wasn't a year where, you know, you guys put out the single and then, you know, it's usually like single and radio promo and then getting on a tour, and then tours were canceled. And you guys just figured out the way to sort of navigate through this incredibly difficult time while sort of forging those building blocks of your career. Was it challenging, or was it sort of more interesting to be able to have a non-traditional kind of start to your careers?
I think especially with all of us being so new, like we didn't know what the traditional way was at all. Yep. So it's like, oh, okay, like we'll play in these tours and like fingers crossed they can happen. And it's like, we're not used to like touring pre-COVID where it's like everything's set in stone and there's like more of like a like standard process of how you release singles and albums. Whereas with this one, it's like we release a single and we're like, okay, let's just wait and see what happens. And then we'll kind of sit on that. And in the meantime, like record more stuff. And then, yeah, just kind of like winging it, you know? And I'm really glad that we did have kind of that like non-traditional start for sure.
Yeah. And Moriah, what has it been like for you being out on the road night after night, singing these songs that are not the easiest to sing, and touring is very tough on the vocals? I was watching some YouTube videos, and I mean, that last note or almost last note at Better Off Alone is like, whoa. And I mean, you just nail it all the time. Has it been challenging to keep the pipes, you know, fresh, being night after night after night after night after night, on tour, jumping on this tour, jumping back on another tour?
It definitely is very challenging. I always try to, and all of you guys can vouch for this, I'm always doing like little like just weird little like noises to try and keep my voice warm, and try to like gauge out how my voice is feeling that day. Because I remember when we went on tour with Mammoth, which was really, really fun, but I think like we had like 4 more shows left, and I completely lost my voice. Like I totally got laryngitis. I was like, I can't do this. I don't have a voice. Like what? And it ended up being okay. But I guess the only thing that you can really do is just try to take care of your voice the best that you can. I know one of my big things, specifically on the Evanescence tour, was that after the shows, I really didn't, like, I really tried not to talk very loudly, or, like whenever I would watch the bands play afterwards, I didn't, sing or like scream any of their songs out there, which I really wanted to. So that freaking sucked. But yeah, it is pretty tough, but.
Yeah, Lizzie told me, by the way, when she was on this feature with me, that she would watch you guys on stage, and then she would look to the guys in the band and be like, oh my God, we have to bring it tonight. We have to bring it tonight, because she said you guys just total ass on the tour, which was incredible. I mean, how amazing was it to be out with Lizzie and Amy? They're two of not only the most talented ladies, but the coolest people in music. I mean, I just adore them. I've known Lizzie for 13 years, and they're just so supportive and so unbelievable. So what was it like to be out on that tour? That had to be like a cool sisterhood.
That was so cool.
Welcoming to us. They seemed so kind and so amazing to us. And no matter how far away we were from home, we still felt like we were home because of just how amazing they were to us.
Yeah.
And they just really like took, and you could tell, I mean, like they totally knew that it was our first, like big tour, and arena tour. And they just, you could tell that they were doing everything that they could to try and help us to feel comfortable and like Ashley said, at home, and just welcome.
Yeah. She said you
like
guys brought this bright spark to the tour. She said it was so awesome to have them on the tour, because it was like a big arena tour for them, she said. And I think she said like everything was kind of new to them. She said, and it just made us feel so good. So she just said there was such an awesome vibe on that tour, and it was so nice to hear her say that. And Amy just, Amy was just like, I got to get the ladies on. I got to get the ladies on this tour. Like they were my choice to open. And, Amy Lee's just not throwing anybody's ass on her tour. So congratulations, girls. I mean, just
thank you so
job
much.
well done. And here it is, by the way. I love it.
Thank you.
It's a cover to cover. It, as we used to say in the old days with records, it's a cover to cover, but I have my old souls here, so I know you guys get that. It's just a cover to cover listen. It's an awesome journey record. And I love you ladies. I am so proud of you. You have just killed it this year. And thank you for paving the way for future generations of music, because I know you're going to be a huge, big part of that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you for all your support.
It's our pleasure. And March 12th, Beacon Theater, New York City, Ticketmaster.com. Make sure you get there nice and early, because we love, when people have an amazing opening act, and I love to see people flooding in and getting into their seats for the opening band. Nothing warms my heart more for, the next generation of rockers. So ladies, thank you so very much. It's awesome to see your beautiful faces, and congratulations on just a banner year and tremendous success. You guys absolutely deserve it.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you live. Can't wait to see you live. I've not seen you live yet, so I'm looking so forward to it. And buy the merch, because the shirts are so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, girls. Be well.
Bye.
You
Thank
too.
you so much. Look forward to seeing you at the Beacon Theater.
I will be there.
Yes, me too.
We're looking for you.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Karis Lock Company, your full-service locksmith, and Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway.